Do progressive lenses.
Eventually, I'm sure.
I have two. You have three?
Well, maybe two. I was thinking maybe two.
Pretty smart, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the mayor will be coming home soon.
Oh, she ain't yet.
No. Rehabilitation.
So Jules not working this project?
Lamagna?
Yeah.
No. No.
Does Dave have his finger, or not Dave, Dave's retired. Coop have a hand in it?
No, Coop, he's part-time now too.
Oh, and he's retired.
Yeah.
I can remember when he first started.
Oh, really?
This was his first job up here.
Tim hired me.
Yeah. Tim still in Florida most of the time?
Who's Dave?
Dave rather.
Actually, he sold his house down there last year, and I don't know if
He didn't go this year.
He didn't go.
The first year he didn't go.
Is there something else going on in the building?
I don't know.
I see the bus out there.
They park it there, I think.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. I think since the Minute Market's under renovation, they coming up here parking it. Did you see that building coming up through town? It's big.
You're gonna have a lot of excavation to do.
Well, yeah, a lot of filling in. You had to bring it up above floodplain.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah.
Now it's about 3 feet higher than the driveway.
People would be driving up to get to the door.
I don't know how they'll do it, whether they'll have a loop up or.
I'm sure PennDOT will be fine with all the water shedding out onto Route 53. I'm sure they'll
Oh,
be fine
yeah.
with that.
Yeah. I haven't seen it out in 53 there since.
They're doing some
72.
serious
That
building.
was-
They put up that store in Bigler in no time at all.
Wasn't it 35 when they had the big flood that did come up across Main
30,
Street?
36.
Yeah, 36.
It was the highest.
So that's what
72
they
did it.
flood
72,
plain.
it came up across down there. But once they got these bridges out, and they got new bridges in, water's flowing.
Well, they got that railroad bridge out of
Yeah.
there for one thing.
Well, the railroad bridge, if it hit it, it automatically back 4 feet, 4 to 6
I
feet.
walked into the
that part of
restaurant,
that town.
and the gentleman that owned the railroad bridge that went across, we had breakfast together. Then he met in my dining room with all the personnel, and he took the bridge out for free.
The bridge he built.
No, it was Penn Central Railroad, I think, at that time, or Pennsylvania Railroad. But it worked like a breast of a
That's not the
dam.
bridge we're talking here, is it?
No. That was supposed to be done in the flood control.
Sean's coming. I don't know, Sean's.
How long ago was that?
Flood control?
It was part of the, Blaine
Yeah.
Run was part of the flood control. I worked on that for 10 years.
In 80,
It just never got done. Never was funded.
2018 council breached the contract. I don't know why Pennsylvania hasn't come after them for 190, either 92 or $96,000. Because pursuant to the contract, you have to pay that money back.
I get that. But there's a certain utility in undertaking that. Where are you going to get it?
We'd have to file bankruptcy here.
Correct.
in 84, I think it was, when I was on council, I tried to get the creek dredged. And that was shut down quicker than anything.
Phillipsburg, yeah,
Phillipsburg
Chesapeake
did
Bay.
that, and
they
they,
wanted to.
Yeah.
Phillipsburg did it because I worked on it.
You're talking about the Cold Stream?
The stream that goes down through town there and goes,
Yeah, no, they want to do it now though, but that's going.
you can't do it. They have to pay for it.
Chesapeake-
They'll do it once, but that's it.
Yeah,
You
but
gotta-
Chesapeake Bay will come in too and won't allow you to put the silt into the bay.
Yeah.
It's all sulfur too. I
Yeah,
don't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't really know where you
The
put it.
solicitors here to go over it.
But the
Yeah,
slope,
we're gonna be
the
able to have a
slope.
meeting.
So
2 people.
I think folks are really starting to see it at the bottom of Center Street where the Weiss Market
Vote.
regularly floods.
No.
And
Wow.
they're trying to deal with it at pumps, but it's primarily because the creek only
No.
drops, I think, a matter of 18 inches over the course of a couple of miles. It's
Yeah.
just very, very shallow drop.
If they
Because it's
put,
silted.
Yeah,
if they would
It's a
put
swamp.
those barriers in at an angle,
It's a swamp.
it creates a hydraulics that pushes.
Give them a couple more minutes, but looking like we're gonna have enough.
Wow. You're gonna wait 15 minutes.
Give them a couple minutes here anyway.
College classroom.
Excuse me?
College classroom.
Yeah.
Professor doesn't show.
I don't know if there's anything in the books on how long you have to wait anyway.
I don't think there is.
Nothing.
You can set it though at your reorganizational meeting, like if you don't have a quorum, 20 minutes, then it's rescheduled.
Boroughs are free to set operating procedures,
Right,
standards.
Can we, since there's only two,
I don't know of any borough that
does.
has ever done that.
can we discuss?
Mhm.
That's what we should do, since everyone's here. But they can't vote on anything.
Can't take any official action.
Here, do you
They
want
have a
to
lot of work that needs done.
Nancy, look at them, I just need them back, there's two. There's one in black and white and there's colors.
We did.
Of, Randy Albert from PennDOT
Oh,
gave me too
okay.
much of it.
I wonder if they got the room finished. Nobody's called me for appointments.
Their township workers did that block work.
Did they?
Kind of fancy, huh?
Yeah.
Need to go to bed.
Second,
I worked in the night shift last night, slept for 2 hours, and I go in daylight tomorrow.
you're red eyeing.
Yeah, I'm tired. I don't like to sleep real long after my last night shift. 'Cause then
Swings
When you
must be
make that
hard.
transition, the next shift is
Yeah, I don't have
weird.
to do that.
I usually sleep 2 or 3 hours and then get up and suffer the day.
Yeah.
About this time here, I'm ready for bed.
If it, if it's a nice day though, if you ride your motorcycle, maybe that'll make you sleepy after.
Not nice enough for having
no, it's a little cold.
I rode it to work Thursday night. Cold on the ride home was 42 degrees. It was cold, but there was no chance after that I was able to ride it.
Listening to a book on the human body. We just completed circadian rhythms, and you were doing yourself no favor.
I guess we can start discussing stuff, and then if someone shows up, we can always.
Okay, we have the two engineers from Stifler, McGraw, Greg Geishauser and Corey Garrett. And they're here to talk about the bridge.
All right.
Well, the only thing I would suggest first off is not knowing where the 6-ton posting came from. I think that's one of the concerns you have is it's posted for 6 tons and nobody seems to have any records of why or how it became posted for 6 tons. So we would be able to do an abbreviated inspection of the bridge, get underneath it, take some measurements, and do a load analysis to determine if 6 tons is factual or it could be higher or it could be lower. If you're interested in keeping the bridge and determining whether it could be open to heavier vehicles or not. If you're strictly interested in replacing it, then we could prepare an engineering services agreement of what it will take for us to survey it, get permits, and design a replacement, which we could do something like Randy has shown you, something similar. But that quote that he gave you is just for the superstructure, which is what's up top.
Mhm.
That does not include the substructure, which would be the abutments and the foundation. So it would be substantially more than the 24,000 or whatever that he has in here.
If you're doing abutments and structure.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what's there now,
With that inspection, I know you primarily asked that about determining what its weight limit would be.
Yeah.
While you're under that bridge, while you're kicking things and checking them out, would you be looking at that structure to And any way to determine its suitability, whether it could be kept maintained?
Yeah, the substructure, we would check to see if it's plumb, if it's undermined. I mean, the wing walls obviously have washed out because of lack of drainage coming down the roadways, which could be something else that needs to be addressed.
What's
To make
the,
sure the water
Sure.
does not wash out behind the wing wall and it outlets to the stream.
Yeah.
was the borough to have an ordinance for the weight limit?
I don't know the legalities of that. I mean, typically, an engineering study needs to be done for a bridge to be posted or a roadway to be posted.
And PennDOT didn't have any ordinance in place for that bridge?
Not that I'm aware of. I didn't ask that specifically. I just asked for any information that they had, and
It's not a
all they
PennDOT
could give me
bridge.
was.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Jerry?
It's
You
not-
mean
It's not a
something along
PennDOT
the line?
bridge.
The borough's required to have, for every sign that's in town, according to what PennDOT rules said that they had to have an
You
ordinance.
sure you're talking about ordinance?
Yeah, they said ordinance. I already found out about this, and the height of the structure of
Usually-
the sign.
They're not generally penalizing people for it's to post it and advise it and to warn folks that you can't take it. And I don't know that that requires the full. I mean, I have certainly seen them resolve passing resolutions.
Yeah.
Bridge gets replaced, 25,000 or 25 tons of weight limit. They resolve, hey, that's going to be our weight limit. It goes in the minutes record, sign goes up.
That's true.
Well, but that's primarily done to protect you all.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
Engineers say what the bridge can withstand. You all want to make sure the public is safe and that you're protected, so you put the sign up. That's usually how it goes.
I don't know, I've been around that.
I'll show you the statute.
Sure you will.
I've never been asked to do. Anyway, moving on.
Maintenance didn't know either.
Are you,
It's been here
you're aware that I
about 10
believe
years.
there's a water line across there too somewhere? So
No, I'm not. I
If you
mean,
talk to
it
Joel-
looked like there was evidence on the downstream side of something encased,
yeah,
but I couldn't tell if that was concrete flooring or if that was a pipe or.
I can't remember which side of the bridge that water line probably went in. And I don't believe there's sewage line through there either. I sit on the board, the sewage board, ECI. Joel has access to those records.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, before we would do anything survey related, we'd do a PA1 call.
Yeah,
And if the utility is listed as it should be, then we would get notification of them being present.
if the borough uses liquid fuels money, then it has to be to PennDOT's standards. Is that,
They can't use, well,
oh, they can't?
They would, yeah, typically liquid fuels money, the bridge has, or the roadway and the bridge has to be a minimum width.
If you contact Waterways and Engineering, there's all kinds of engineering already done that would probably help you. That was part of the flood control, which was canceled in 2018 by this council, or a council.
I start to have copies of that too.
Waterways and engineering, what department?
DEP, Waterways and Engineering. Mike Conway was director. Then it went to, I can't think of the other, I think his first name is Paul. And he may be gone now. I worked on it 10 years as a councilman.
Do you think Joel would have that?
He may have it, because I believe Stifler McGraw was involved with the flood control project somewhat.
But their engineering firm had engineer. I have some drawings down there in my office, and it was to be a U, cement U, down through there to take care of the width of that bank.
Where the gabion baskets are now?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that was to be all part of the flood control.
Randy Albert suggested too, that, you look into the concrete top that goes down on it, and if the underneath structure is okay,
Mhm.
to put that on, and then pave over it. He said that and that wooden one are the least expensive. But there were those walls are washing out. I don't know how long that wire's been there anyhow. It's long. But that needs redone, so
It's been there a little
that's why
bit,
somebody from the fish,
not super
or the
long.
Fish and Game Commission.
What's that,
Wire baskets.
yeah, I
Fish
did
and boat.
them 15 years ago. I did them with John
Davis, yeah,
Davis, me and him did them.
Yeah.
15 years ago, probably, if not longer.
a bit longer.
Well, I was living in Coalport. I've only been here for 20 years. So
Okay.
that'd be-
I thought John had done that.
yes,
Yeah.
me and him did it.
So you would do an abbreviated inspection and see about the weight load, and then prepare an engineering service after that. And then you would, we can't even vote on that tonight,
No.
so.
Where are the funds coming for preliminary work and that, for the whole thing?
Hmm.
Where's the funding coming from for the preliminary working on this?
we have
Out of
rich
general
manufacturer.
fund.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
We passing the hat.
We have been awarded, so far, we've been awarded $53,000 by the county. We can use ARPA funds if we want to. Kelly, I'm not gonna be able to think of her last name. From the Clearfield County Conservation District has been down, and they've looked over it, and they think maybe we can get some grant money from them. And then I keep Fish and Game Commission. Corey, is that who that was?
Yep.
Commission, okay. That maybe they would help too.
Fish and boat.
Fish and boat.
Fish and
Fish
boat.
and boat.
We're the only state I think with separate ones.
Yeah.
Fish and boat. So we're gonna be looking at multiple,
I just
places.
was wondering
but we
where,
have a 53 to
because you
start.
mentioned that they couldn't probably use liquid fuels on that.
You can't if it's not penned up rich.
Yeah.
But you still have to use their specifications.
I don't understand that personally.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is liquid fuels can be used for maintaining roads.
Yes.
They aren't PennDOT approved.
Liquid fuels can be used
Can be
on a
used.
borough road if it meets certain criteria.
Yeah, the width.
Yes.
But that one
Properly
doesn't, from what
contracted.
we were told, that one won't meet that.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to Randy
I
to see.
guess because it's too small.
Usually has to be a minimum of 16 feet wide to be eligible for liquid fuels.
I know at one time the alleys weren't allowed to be included, but there was a changing that made it narrower for certain things. I don't know what the width is.
The drawings that you were sharing, is it going to be 16 foot wider? I mean,
That would be up to council to decide.
That wasn't from them.
oh, it wasn't?
No, we haven't
Okay.
paid them to do any of that. That's all from, the guys that are helping from PennDOT.
Okay.
So I just have to wait. So we're gonna have to figure out when the next meeting is before you go tonight.
I don't have a problem.
Hmm?
I don't have a problem. It'd be,
First Monday of the month, are you going to be able to have a meeting then?
I think,
I don't know, I'm not saying anything anymore. I think they're coming and they don't, and then whatever,
When's the first Monday of the month?
no?
Next Monday.
yeah,
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah, I won't be here.
yeah, that's why we were having one tonight.
I work
Went through that last meeting.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, daylight, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Next week.
Well, that's good. We basically build it around him, but Greg and Sean, it's very unusual for Sean not to be here. I hope he's okay.
He wouldn't have forgotten, would he?
Hmm?
He wouldn't have forgotten, would he?
No, I don't think.
You know, we discussed about the meeting, your last meeting, and I think the first 2 Mondays you weren't available.
I think the second one I would be, let me think here. Yeah, I'd be available the second one.
Just look at the calendar before you leave.
The
Did you guys? have
calendar wouldn't do me any
anything
good. It
I don't know what to-
it's in my head.
I just had the
else? We
copies
broke
of
that contract.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was already brought, already voted. Okay,
And then if you could fill that out.
okay.
So we have.
And I'll have him sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you would keep one, and if you could send one back to us.
Gotcha. With this other paper. So I'll let you know as soon as we can have a meeting.
Okay.
Can't make a decision on the money, once the quorum's in.
Okay. Well, it was nice meeting everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Talk with him about those two properties.
No,
Yeah, remember I said he'd come and explain to you the different things that can be done,
with the,
both the garage and the Lake Cape Cod where we took the garbage out of.
You're not alone. Every municipality deals with blight. You all know that. What do you want to know, guys?
what the,
Well, listen, Mary Sue, I know you've discussed about some options already. I'm sure that happened outside my presence. I understand, nothing.
Not like you explain it, no.
All right. Have you had any conversations with Lisa Kovalik?
No,
Do you have any budget for this? So I can assure you one thing, I have not found the inexpensive, cheap, no-cost approach to condemnation and demolition of property. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You're typically dealing with property owners who are gone, they're out of the area, they don't care, and it is very difficult to pursue them, and it is very difficult to get your money back. Best hope you can is to front the money, take possession of that property, tear it down, make it safe, and if you're lucky, you can resell it. And I'm not saying the same amount you put in it, but at least you might be able to get some money back, right? So essentially 2 options. If you can track down a property owner or the property owners, if it is diffuse, meaning that property sat there and it's gone through a couple of generations, so now a bunch of heirs all have an interest, this is probably off the table because it's too hard to track them all down. But if you do have an owner and you know where they're at, you can always get a voluntary surrender.
we do.
So you tag it, this is dangerous, dilapidated, you can't reoccupy it until you contact us. They're probably not going to. You reach out to them. I wouldn't say you threaten them, but you explain how difficult this is going to become. This is serious, you cannot neglect it. We will cite you, we will fine you, we will pursue you, whatever we need to do to get compliance, or you can just walk away from this property now. You can turn over the interest to us. The solicitor will take care of everything, and quit claim deed later, you have possession of that property, it is yours, you can do with it what you want. That, however, requires you to have funds to deal with it, right? Once you take it, you may have liens, you may have other problems, so I suggest before you put it into your possession, you check it, which is a title search. Lisa's very good at getting those types of things because they have access to the tax records as well as the pathonetary's office. They can get your report. We can too, but ours comes with cost, right? We employ title searchers. They give us a bill, we pass it on to you.
The borough mentioned last meeting that they brought a dumpster in to clean up
Yep.
that one property.
We didn't get to that yet. We're doing this one.
Well, this is part of it. Can they put a municipal lien onto the
That's,
property?
that's an option, and that's coming.
Okay,
It can become a bit of a blood from rock type of scenario or situation, because you can put that and it can sit there like a mortgage. The bank wants to get paid, the water or municipal authority, they want to get paid because no one's been paying a sewer bill. All of these things start to accumulate. The borough wants its taxes, the school wants its taxes, the county wants the taxes. All of those things all start to just get ranked, and because no one's paying attention, it's just accumulating. So yes, it is in theory. Yes, we can go impose the municipal.
is there
lien.
a order of lien
Precedence.
precedence?
There is. Yep, and that's quite literally what you do, unless it goes through judicial sale, and then that usually wipes everything.
Judge wipes it out.
Whether you get that and how long that takes, and Clearfield County's record of getting them to judicial sales, I don't speak to that. We need another hour.
It's getting better.
It is. They're
Lisa's
moving.
really pushed
Yep.
out now.
There is the option of the redevelopment authority that did not exist in Clearfield County previously. I think the county's been pushing to give options to municipalities to deal with municipal blight. There is a redevelopment authority. Lisa Kovalik is your contact. They do have resources. They only have so much resource. They can't take every blighted property as fast as every municipality wants them to. But the goal is to track down the owner, either rehabilitate the property or try to make it safe. But in the same vein, the primary goal is to get it back on the tax records.
So you could actually, in Winston's case, who owns the garage, you could actually send a letter kind of encompassing a lot of that then, right? All his options and what will be done if he doesn't,
But he's paying his taxes.
yeah, he just told me it.
That's great. That's usually not the case. If we have a communicating property owner and council does want to make a move, if I know we can reach them, what really bothers and wastes your money is when we think, and then we start sending them green cards, we start sending them all that, and no one replies. We cannot track them down, and the mail just all comes back. So
Can he be served by the,
the constable,
Yes, thank
yes,
you.
150 clip. Yep.
Because they know where, people know where he lives.
Mm-hmm. Good. Here in the county.
He lives in, it would be Cambria County.
Okay, it's close enough, really.
And it's
Anyway,
on the
so
other
we could get,
side
yeah,
of the
in
lake.
theory, we could get the constable in that jurisdiction to go find him, serve him. But they get to set the rate. They're independent contractors. They get to name their price.
Curvensville has, you have to bring a plan of remediation. Is that a step in this plan? I know you've gone right to the to the court level.
If you go, well, no, I'm not. These are actually the ones that stay away from the court. So redevelopment authorities are nice because there's less of an onus on you all and on me. The authority has its own separate, forgive the term, authority. It gets its own legislatively granted powers. They are broader than what you have as a municipality to take possession and convert those properties and try to make them safe, bring them back on the tax rolls. So
Yeah, that particular building is not on Lisa's list right now.
okay,
I don't know if she's willing to change and
well,
put on, but I mean, she's made her list for the area.
I
There's
like
5.
Lisa. I think she's good, but a lot of folks are vying for her time.
No, you know, whole
'Cause-
county.
Every municipality is dealing with blight, and it is a struggle, and unfortunately, it is one that's getting worse. So reach out if you can get her time. I know she's come to other municipality meetings. I hope you can get a quorum when she does, because her time is precious too. But if you can pursue that route, I like it. I endorse it. I think it's a very good route, and requires less of your money up front. Okay.
If somebody would get hurt in one of the like buildings.
Yeah.
Who would be responsible for that?
It
The owner or the borough?
certainly the owner, because they're the one who has the building. They're not properly maintaining it, and if they're not keeping an eye on it, it becomes attractive nuisance, or things are falling off and hurting other people. They're definitely on the line. Their insurance company, if they bothered to have it or keep it, in theory, the municipality too, for failure to act. If you know it's dangerous and you haven't done anything and you're just ignoring it, that is not a good approach. But putting up the placards, putting up the tape, making sure it's properly signed, is a proactive step to warn and caution the rest of the community.
There's, in your packet, there's a letter, and I'm talking to Shannon Valley Cog, and they're going to, I'm having trouble getting words here tonight. Condemn them.
Yeah, condemnation is next on the list.
So, and Lisa said that will also help her with the one she wants down to. But that's a good step in to the right way.
If you know where the owner is, it is definitely unsafe. You have to move. We have the budget, and so I'm assuming all of these things. So you've made it a priority. You've provided the budget and say, okay, here's what we know, Dan. Here's the pot of cash. We know we can take down a certain number of properties. Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, whatever it is. But we know we have it. We've prepared it. It's a municipal priority. So let's go get these folks because we've got to make a move. If those things are there, municipal condemnation is on the board for you. It is granted through the Eminent Domain Act. You need someone qualified. I think PennSafe is yours, right? They were going down to make the inspections. They are qualified if they determine it. It's really not that hard to meet the statutory standard. If there are vermin, if things are falling off the property, if it is unoccupied, if kids are going into it, so there's an attractive nuisance like an open basement or kids are playing around it, all of those things you just need one or more. And you can pretty well make the standard with proper notice to the property owner. Hey, if you don't, in 30 to 60 days, we are moving to condemn this property and we will take title for your failure to remediate. That's where the plan comes in. So if the property owner comes back and says, don't take my building, that's the plan. Well, then you have to, in fact, show us what you're going to do in the time prescribed, and you don't have a lot of it. So we're not going to sit here for 6 months while you try to come up with some plan that really doesn't fix any of the issues. So they're under the gun at that point. Ultimately, you may have to do a municipal hearing where you ultimately choose to condemn. You'll bring in the people, you'll have your pictures, they can come and make a case, the owner can come and say, don't take my property, and you can make the call, and maybe they won't sue you in court to take it back.
With them in domain, do they have to come up with an appraised value of the property?
That's the other form of it. That's straight up taking. So if you have a beautiful property and I want to take my bridge through your property because that's the shortest way to get there. I want to put my school on it. I want to put a utility line through it. I want to build a dam on your property. That's the other form of it. That's not when the property is neglected. And yes, if I come and take your house and I do have to pay you value, I do have to get a board of view, I do have to give you fair value, the whole thing, you have to go through that process. That's another chapter and another section of it. But yeah, you're in the same ballpark.
If my memory serves me right, 3 appraisals, 3 different people have to come in.
Unless you're
No.
seems like they
Okay, so with
Don't give away everything.
Yeah, correct.
this house where all that garbage was
Yeah.
that we removed. There was vermin. We don't know what else was in it.
Right?
We bought outfits for the maintenance workers to wear and masks because we didn't know what was in it.
I will operate under the assumption everyone in this room agrees this is an unsafe and it's a dangerous structure. Both of them are well beyond what
No,
we want
this
to call
house is this house
Oh.
is pretty decent.
But yeah, they
it.
haven't
It just
changed.
has garbage.
Yeah, but and we can't find the owner. We
What
know
I
who
was
he is.
told-
So okay, so you have one that's falling down. That one is
That
dead.
garage
Right.
that was falling down.
And then
This
the
is-
other one is
This is
just
the house where that garbage.
unkept.
Well, it was kept, but somebody went into the house and cleaned
it.
out.
Seems that,
So far as we
Put
know,
everything
it's
outside.
They
not.
put all the
Yeah.
garbage right on
Right.
the
This is
side
where
road and
this
said-
is where the father passed away, right, or something, and now the
We don't
daughter's trying
know.
to-
I haven't been able to find it. That he's dead.
He might
Does he have
be in
taxes?
a nursing home somewhere.
Hasn't paid taxes for 2 years.
2 years.
Because
I mean, that could be where he's at. Yeah, that happens.
she said to the neighbors there that my dad's coming home in about 2 weeks. So to me, it sounded like he might be in home. I don't know, but he's a recluse, isn't he? I think he might be a hoarder too.
He doesn't have a mailbox. It's there, but somebody
Unfortunately.
knocked it down, so he can't get mail. I have to hand deliver.
And And
in
we,
front of the door.
I think the last meeting I showed you what the mayor told me to put up. We did, and then the
Yeah.
second notice is what he told.
Yeah, I looked at it. I mean, you gotta, yeah. I'm all in favor of tacking those things to the front door.
So if you send a certified mail with a green card, you're not gonna, you're gonna get it all back. And
Right, because if there's no mailbox,
no mailbox.
in all likelihood.
So how do we go? I'd like to get our money back.
I'm sure. Find out where he's at.
I've tried and I've been unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Nobody knows him. Nobody sees him. Nobody even knows what he looks like around.
Who emptied all that stuff out of the house?
John Phillips. It's right next to the senior housing. It's a white Cape Cod.
Nellie
Yeah.
Wazowski's.
Yeah, I know the house you're talking about. But you
But who
can't,
cleaned it out?
We took a lot of pictures of it too. I took a lot of pictures of
Mhm.
it too, so.
Who came and put
Ask your friends and neighbors. No one in Coalport knows.
Well, one of the women from the senior housing saw a girl out there and she was walking her dog, not the girl, the woman, and talked to her. And she was the one cleaning it out, and she's the one who said, my dad will be home in about 2 weeks. So we don't, I keep asking the women down there, have you seen anybody? Have you seen her? Have you seen him? The guys have gone up, the workers have gone up and knocked on the doors several times.
Mhm. If anyone sees that daughter come back, need to talk to her.
Yes, but she's catching her.
I would imagine we find out who the daughter is.
I did
That's what I
find
mean.
that out.
That's my.
If she's conscientious to clean it out, she's probably conscientious enough to take our letter or our call. Say, hey, we have a situation and we need to communicate with the
Yeah,
family.
she obviously cleaned it out because hopes that someone was coming back, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
because if she didn't think no one was coming back, it would just
I kept
let her.
looking.
Why would she took the time to? Yeah, she just threw all the garbage out in the yard, but she still took the time to.
Well, it actually, most of it was it was bags and boxes. So the boxes probably, it rained.
I
They
would
were
think
there
if we
for
could
a
get a
long
hold of
time.
her, that would be our best bet on that one. Like the first
I
start.
looked on, trying to find her on the computer, and I haven't been able to do it. I keep watching to see if he has a death certificate that maybe somebody else's name's in, and but they would need a letter, right?
We need to find out who we can communicate.
Yeah.
If,
Who's in
yeah,
charge of it?
mail, I think Jerry's right. Mail's not gonna work. It's gonna come back. That's gonna be useless. If we can't, we gotta find a phone number. We gotta find someone who's related to this person. We gotta find out where they're at.
But the
Also,
court will
also-
recognize the fact that you tried with that and it came back. Because
Mhm.
I've served that in court.
Yeah,
It gives them some credibility, and you tried.
I get that, but boy,
I don't think that's one that needs.
if
pulled
we're
out.
there though, we're so much further
No,
down in the expense
Unless he's
game.
ruined the
Yeah.
inside or
We've
something.
pursued them, then we filed
Mary
action. We're
McGill
going
lived in
through
it.
all
She
that
had a
effort.
lot of remodeling done in it, because it had been kind of let go.
It saves money when we can avoid that.
What type of
Nellie,
borough
Nellie
entities
Rosowski.
Yeah, they kept it up.
need
Nellie
to
Remember
did.
she used to
be
sit in
created,
the
like
yard?
Oh,
Curvensville
yeah,
has
well,
a
Yeah.
vacancy
Weeds out.
board?
dandelions.
Don't we have to have an
But
appeals board
the
on
property
some of the issues?
It's one of the newer homes in
Like,
the
they
borough.
have a hearing and
I mean, I'm going back
No-
50
no
plus
appeals.
years.
Not for this
For Nellie's sake, I
Usually
think
an
she
appeals
probably
board
kept
is
the
for some-
property up.
type of zoning
But-
dispute.
They don't like to remodel up to the 90s.
we don't have a zoning board
You
here.
know,
No,
I don't know. I
sure,
can't
no.
remember when Nellie died.
I don't think you have any.
And
I don't
when
think they have
Mary
any
Lee
zoning
went in, she
ordinance at
probably
all.
wanted it brought up to the 2000s.
Plus she had, okay.
So they have to enact some type of ordinance for,
No, municipal condemnation is provided by statute.
okay.
And the hearing, the tribunal, if you will, would be the council. And if they are aggrieved, so they're dissatisfied with your decision, or they think you've acted inappropriately, their appeal is to the Court of Common Pleas. if that's presuming we're pursuing option 3, so to speak.
It doesn't happen overnight.
It does not.
Well,
It does not,
another year it
friends.
goes up for taxes.
I would
I
have
think
to,
at this point,
It
what's
probably
really
has been
important
exposed for taxes.
is to get these 5 in.
3
here
years. That's what Claire was saying,
first.
3, I think
It's
it
really
is 3
important
years.
to get these.
Probably has
I
with the upset
contracts and
sellers.
stuff that you
Yeah.
voted on and signed and.
But there again, you assume the liens and mortgages.
Yeah, no one's gonna
If
take it if there's a mortgage on it.
we can find a way to
Or-
afford.
It's quite unlikely,
I'll call Lisa.
because they will take
I-
it subject to
She
the
knows about
mortgage.
the garage.
the
Like I said,
taxes
she had
are in the
already
name
Chosen
of
5,
his
4 on
mother,
Main Street.
and
it's
she's
not clear to you.
deceased.
Mainly, she's choosing them too is because the people,
Okay,
I'll
the
verify
people next
that
to
if
them,
you
like
need
in
it.
McNally's
Thank you.
case, they wanted to buy it, and she knew that she could get some money back. They don't get it all back. I think they paid 10 for it, and it cost, what did I say it was? Did I say 15 or 18? 18, I think, to tear it down. So they never get their money back, I guess, but it still helps. Right. Do you have anything else?
yeah,
that
people who
teaches?
take this for, and make these purchases are generally not doing it in their economic interests. They are neighbors and they are tired, and they will throw the money at it because they're tired of the problem next door to them. And they know it's affecting their property value.
You never know that building was there. McNaldy's bam, fixed everything up. She has a gazebo on it, and
Yeah,
never know that was there.
They did a good job of it.
There's a couple more right there that need.
no easy answers, friends, but you're not in the boat alone.
What are the objectives? You mentioned the garage, but what are the other the buildings that you're considering?
Yeah, that's what Lisa Kavalik's gonna wanna know if you bring her into the conversation. She's gonna want you to rank them.
She does that though.
To some degree, yes,
Yeah.
but she's not, generally she wants a list. Tell me all the properties that are an issue for you.
Yeah.
And then they'll go through their
She's-
own analysis, like,
She's been
yeah,
down a couple.
can we track
times.
these people down? Where can we find them? What other liens are, they go through a complicated, no, it's not, I don't know how complicated the analysis is. I really don't know what the analysis is, but it exists. They take care of it for you and they will tell you which ones they'll
One of
pursue.
them's up here.
Marges?
Yeah.
The easiest one that you would have, because I've talked to him personally, is Shirley's Restaurant.
John Vale.
He said he signed a contract with the county that they could have it.
Okay, I didn't know about
That's
okay.
his,
Maybe
I mean,
that's
I'm
his-
alleging that, I don't
Yeah.
have proof of it,
And
but he told me that. I'm an eyewitness
Mark
to
and
that.
Lacey Wolves.
Excuse me?
Mark and Lacey Wolves.
That one, yeah.
Households right next door,
Yeah, Strong's.
across the street,
Strong's next door.
cost,
Well, cost,
cost.
cost.
KOS.
This would be
Cost,
worth
yeah.
seriously
Yeah.
Anderson-
considering.
These are old, these are for Jerry's record, since he's recording us, these are old names. They may not be the current owners.
No.
Obviously, that's not specific to you guys, yeah.
This is
Anderson's,
not for
um,
publication,
You're not gonna publish it.
no, because it's not a
That
actual.
that one there by the Pizza King and the one up at the end of town. That one can't be condemned, he told me, because it has, he said that's good enough that that place can be renovated. There's a roof on it.
Wilkinson's.
Yeah, there's a roof on it. He said the biggest thing is if it doesn't have a roof on and if the
Wilkinson's.
basement's, falling in and stuff. He said that house can be renovated. So that he won't condemn that one.
Well, the white one.
Wilkinson's.
No, the
Way
one
up,
on the
Anderson's
corner.
way up at the end of
Low
town.
wall.
Yeah.
That's
Where Sean
Penn
Beers
Safe.
used to have a
Yeah.
barber shop.
That's Penn Safe.
Yeah, that's what he said. But
Okay.
then the county office told me that they're having trouble finding them because something has to be signed by the owners, I think, before it's put into some kind of sale. And every time they think, well, so at least said they really don't have the money to keep chasing them either. But the county office said, should we thought, we got an address now, Tuna, and said when we went there, wasn't right. So. That's why, if you look in the paper at Altoona and some of these places, what they're doing, and they have the money to do it evidently, is like you said, they're taking over the property and just getting rid of it.
They do, but they have significant resources.
We're just a small, I wouldn't be afraid to guess we're one of the smallest municipalities in the county.
No, there's one with.
Oh, I'm not saying you are, but you're one of.
Yeah.
Any one of, yeah.
There's
Several that are
14,
smaller
huh?
than you.
There are,
Huh?
yeah, some
There's several
townships,
that are
Is there?
smaller
some
than
townships
you.
are smaller than you. I mean, but, yeah.
Have they repealed
Like
Title
county-
45 of 2009? It's the statewide ordinance. It used to be under L&I, and then they shifted it to, I'm not sure whether DEP took ownership of that. It was created for labor and industry. But it makes the borough responsible for these buildings.
I don't know what you refer to.
Title 45.
I think lawyers think, I think the general public thinks that, I don't like references to acts of a specific date because it's the worst possible way, in my opinion.
I don't know the statute.
We like references to consolidated statutes because it's the entire code of all the state laws, and that's the one we're most used to.
Yeah.
That may be true. I don't know specifically what you're referring to.
I've read it.
This
It
one's a
says
lot
the
more
borough's
complete than the ones that's
responsible.
here.
If the property owner doesn't
I
do it,
gave you an ordinance.
the borough's
didn't I?
responsible.
No, thank.
Okay, I have some in here. I've been now and then just copying them, and I'll get them done up in a folder so you can have them. I know you're real anxious to read the whole thing. That will make you tired, Dot. I guarantee that.
Yeah, folks, I just gave you that. That's a draft, a generic that could be tailored to you all, but it would address blight,
We
assign
have one,
penalties,
but
allow the.
nothing as comprehensive as this is.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I leafed through before I printed that. I didn't see it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I just didn't see
See
it
what?
in your ordinances. You said
Oh,
there's a
no, it
blight.
just talks about some buildings, but nothing like this.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, something to consider. At least you have that as an ordinance. Gives you additional enforcement.
Okay.
All right.
And that's
Jerry, you're
process.
still recording, but it's not public?
No. It's for reference to go back to.
Oh.
Nice way to skirt it, Jerry.
No, it is. We
Well,
talked about
Reference
this.
to go
and-
back to. For who?
I assumed it all went on YouTube.
No.
I have a question, and maybe it's directed
It's
to you
not
too, and
official
maybe
meeting.
Mary Sue. The ARP monies, I know you didn't want to get into that, the ARPA money. I'm concerned about the fire company receiving that 3,500.
Mhm.
Okay, I did email to the state government on it, and I got some reply, but I would rather,
Jack, I have all that stuff.
I know, but I could not find it
Find what?
where it's approved.
The ARPA?
ARPA monies to the fire company as a toward contract.
You were going to discuss that in this meeting.
We can't, there's no.
No,
way to
I
vote.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why if you would like to have this, you might be able to reinterpret it a little better than I can. I did find one spot in it that states, contracts.
Is this a question, excuse
Yeah,
my
I don't-
framing of it.
No,
Is
that's
this a
fine.
question as to whether the ARPA funds would be allowed to be appropriated for
Yes.
the
Yeah,
purposes
they
of
are.
paying?
They
Okay.
are, I know
Yes.
that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that.
You can, to a nonprofit, you can do that.
Okay.
You can actually,
Yeah, and that's why that's not, I don't wanna take your time or you charge me.
whoever talked tonight gets a cut of this.
But I didn't know whether he could look at this and say, oh yeah, that's what they need, or at least give it an idea.
They were going to work on ARPA
Because-
budget tonight.
What I'm getting at is the borough has not paid the 2001 contract for the fire
Yeah, I
company.
have, and we looked it up, remember?
Right, you and I have dates and everything here.
That's
And
when, my ARPA folder in that one
Oh,
is
it's-
like this.
And it's gonna get thicker. Yeah, or by the time it's all said and done. And the bad part and I'm not here to nitpick or anything.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. If they come back and
Oh,
audit
so you can
you,
give me a blight budget.
if
I
they,
have to make a report every 6 months.
I know, that's what I'm saying. If they, giving a report and them coming in actually looking is gonna be two different things.
Well, if they wanna come look, people need to be
They,
honest on what the.
nobody knows.
Well, then I got a sheet at one time, I mean, it was full of all the offices they closed. Once they gave that money out and came out with, first it was the first rule, then it was the second rule, then it was the final rule.
Right, well, that's,
And each time I'm, getting like 10 papers at a time. Now they changed it. Now it was pretty restricted at first, but now they've
Very
opened it pretty
restricted.
wide open. There's do's and don'ts. No, you can have that.
Thanks.
Hey, I just taught you something.
That's up to them whether they want me to review
Yeah.
anything.
yeah. I think it's just gonna be a quick, they're allowed. I mean,
Well, it says non-profits.
well, it says here, after I looked at it, it says, Treasury has classified that under the final rule, payment for government employees' contracts, grants, supplies, equipment, rental may be, eligible for the fund. So they're good. They're good to go. But I'm not the attorney that would say, yes, you are allowed to do that. Because the fire company accepted it as a donation, not toward the contract. I don't know what the municipality's intent
What do you mean with that?
was. Well, were they paying?
I'm hearing both of those. So whether it's defined as a contract payment or a donation,
Right,
I'm hearing that both of those.
but
are
there's two
allowed.
different things. The fire company came to the council here.
I get maybe it is, but I'm saying is that's a difference, but without a distinction, right?
The monies, that's why I wanted to know, was it given to the fire company as a donation? Or was it given toward the contract?
There was no distinction.
Well, you're going way back now
No,
from when I
I'm
started.
I'm going back to
No,
November
but
1st
you're-
of
but you're
21.
going back and what the essence of that whole argument
That's what it is.
is that there never should have been a contract. It should
No.
be a donation.
That's
It's made.
that's interpretation by you and prior council members.
Right.
I'm
It
just,
was
no,
a
I'm
con-
just saying.
There was a
that's-
contract.
Yeah,
There is contract.
There's a written instrument.
A written instrument, you can use that term.
okay.
The council,
Well, the problem is, I don't want to go heavy on
Yeah,
this
no, I
because
know.
the point is, all you're asking, or anyone is asking, is whether council is going to try to catch up on payments that were expected by the fire company. That's what we're
that's
at.
pretty much.
They rely on that. They need it for their budget. Council says we're really struggling with the money. Maybe we have some money. It's their choice whether they catch up and make up those payments, right? That's your determination as a council. Whether it's a contract, whether it's forcible at law is a legal determination. And you got to be careful about claiming all of those things when they are what would be a gratuitous gift of something. A contract is an exchange for something. I know you're going to say we're providing that service, but
Right.
you're providing it anyway. It's what you do. It's what fire companies do.
But how do they operate without that contribution?
That is not a contract question. That is, do we need to provide an essential municipal service? And do we support that? And that is a question for council.
Yeah, there were a lot of different questions.
Oh,
coming from those.
I realize that,
I don't think that
Because
one
sometimes
night
people
that
come
I.
in and go, this is enforceable.
No.
But are we really suing each other to try to catch up on these money?
Right.
Or are you really just asking for council, can you support us to the degree that you can afford to do it so we can continue to supply this municipal service, keep people safe, and make sure their houses don't get burnt down and that they get hurt in the process?
right.
Correct.
When that
And that's a
crowd
valid
was here
point.
like that, and I was sitting up there, what got me so upset is so many people were here and didn't realize what the argument was about.
What crowd?
I finally said, will you people stop? They thought the council didn't want to have the fire company. And the one woman said,
Well,
Oh.
some of the council members did not want to support the fire company financially.
because of what was going on with us being in the red.
Right, and the fire company initially, years ago, had a contract of $7,500.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back and negotiated it down because of the financial difficulties that the borough has, or had. to $3,500 a year.
We're still under watch from the state.
But your budget showed you had a surplus at the end of the year.
Yeah, huge one. Yeah. Jack.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, you're not recording this, Jerry.
Yes, he is. He's
I know.
recording everything.
Why are you recording this, Joe? This is a meeting, this is a public meeting.
It's a public meeting.
It's tough for us to go to the other
It's
municipalities
just
and
what
ask
you wanna do.
for financial contributions to help us run. We just bought new radios at $185,000. Luckily, we got a grant to cover most of it, but the differential is a lot more than what the borough would give us in a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year period.
And out of all those charts and stuff that were made up, it was surprising to see that there's no equity, I guess would be the word, between the municipalities that donate. The 7,500 from Coalport was per person type thing.
It was negotiated
Was
figure
higher.
from years ago.
Yeah, and
And at the time, the borough had population, we'll say, of 1,000, and Buchanan Township did not have the population
now
they
it's
have
switched
now.
around.
And Noy Township didn't have it, and now
Yeah,
it's
no, they
around.
do. Yeah.
You know, maybe you need to renegotiate the contract. I mean, I think the fire company did right by cutting the request or contribution.
I
or
don't
whatever you wanna
understand
call
though
it.
why there has to be a contract for a contribution. I don't understand that. A contract for a contribution.
It's been in place since how long, Rick? 72,
That doesn't-
73,
I-
74?
For this very
I can
reason
see the
that,
fire
that borough's not paying.
Back when I belonged
Of
to
having to
Yeah.
negotiate. it
That's-
out
That
way,
tends to be the
they know
argument,
what they're
that
gonna
does
get
tend to
if
be the argument from the fire.
Well, what was strange was all those years, those 20 years, oh shoot, I stepped in there. The other council members were told it was mandatory.
It is.
It
If you look in
was.
the- If you look in
It
the,
wasn't.
I was on council for 10 years.
if you look in the state book that you guys have, they have to follow by,
What is this?
it says that,
What?
Yes.
The borough
the
code,
borough code. That's
No.
all.
they can come and negotiate in October, I believe it is. You're supposed to come
I don't know. period.
September or October.
I thought, I'm misunderstanding you. You're saying.
But whatever, we could sit here all
The
night
borough
talking
code
about
calls
this.
for
This is
financial support. to the
Calls
fire.
for it. Yeah, I don't know that
Everybody has their opinions.
No.
There's a
Get it on
provision
the-
for the assessment of tax for that.
Yeah, and that's.
Well, I
roughly
tried to-
3 mil.
Municipalities in this part of the state generally don't.
Don't do a mill each year.
I tried to get rid of the per capita and do a service fee, because we could go up to $50. I wanted to, I made a motion for $25 from every, for a service fee. We could have taken care of the fire company.
Gentlemen, I am sympathetic, and I don't mean to speak for council, but little known fact, taxes and fees are fiercely unpopular.
Yes.
Yeah, council didn't vote for it.
Everyone wants, and no one wants, yes, I've just seen this time and time again.
I think without, ultimately, we need to get it on the agenda.
The sun goes up, it comes up in the east,
Yeah.
it goes down in the west, and
Close up
people
here,
hate taxes.
I'll talk to you and find out when we get another meeting, okay?
And we got
I
a
know,
town
I was
here
trying to be
that I
cute,
guess
but
75% of
people to enact it.
senior
I know.
citizens, retirees, or welfare. So you don't got very many people in town that works.
I'm gonna get you to sign this and that other. So,
It's pretty hard to do what we wanna do.
it's always hard.
It is.
In the same
You're not
sense,
alone in that.
I'm with Jackie. Jack here, to run a power company isn't cheap either.
No.
So we just need to get it
And
on
if
here.
it's voluntary,
vote on it.
Increasingly expensive and fiercely so.
It's,
Yeah, right.
I mean, everybody's between a rock and a hard place.
Right. The borough at one time owned the fire company, owned the
Yeah.
vehicles
That-
and everything.
Yeah, at one time that was how it was done, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Port Borough still owns theirs or not.
I don't know.
16-year-old kids used to jump on the engine instead.
Yeah, you
Run
don't
back
do
to fire trucks.
Don't do that anymore.
There used to be whole municipalities and fire companies, municipalities owned fire companies.
Yes.
That kind of drifted away.
Well, the borough, the fire hall that we're in, the borough bought,
Yeah.
built in '54 and had the borough jail in it.
Yeah, I remember the jail being in down there. Yeah, one cell.
2 cells.
2 shells?
Two
Yeah.
cells, 2 toilets.
Yeah. I remember them being in there.
Thank you, council, for at least letting us talk and bring things to you.
I thought it was very good.
I don't usually thanked for talking, so
Yeah.
it's a rare treat.
I'm new one here, so I got a lot of catching up. Mary Sue keeps giving me more and more papers.
Do you have anything more to add with that resolution, to hire them?
It's really, it
Yeah,
is really council's providence. It's their choice. It is what they wish to do,
yeah.
Jerry.
Well, they were letting it
I
up to
reviewed
you,
it, I
whatever
see
you
what it
thought.
says.
Yeah. Maybe you could give your opinion on that to them since you're here. Because they tabled it deferring to you.
What specific concern did you have about that resolution for me?
What?
Ooh.
Oh, we're having a meeting.
The only thing that I had, I didn't like that Keystone struck item 3, I think it is.
You mean in the whereas, where they're talking about the assignment of a penalty?
Correct. There is no penalty.
Yeah, but you wrote, and again, I'll say it again.
Mhm.
It's not up to you to write the resolutions for the council.
It was a suggestion.
Okay, I know it is, Jerry.
And he's looking
You
at it.
don't suggest nothing, Jerry.
Yeah,
Well, I
you
can,
suggest
I
what?
can
You
suggest.
don't. You,
Okay, you have that on now, I'm talking?
Sure.
Okay, yours was 6 or 8 pages long. They made their own contract. It's 1 page.
No, that was 1 page. That's mine right there.
No, it is not yours. That's from Keystone. They made up their own resolution
Well,
and
they
contract.
took my format.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think that
I
was
rest my case.
a lot less than yours. But yeah, we want to go with them, but that's why I was just checking. I don't think we voted on that last meeting.
No, it's
It was
No,
on
it's
the agenda
tabled.
tonight.
Yeah.
I do think there are limits. I don't think that Keystone intends to be an enforcement arm for the borough. I think they collect. I
Yeah.
think that's their primary goal.
They can garner wages.
They can,
Berkheimer could not.
correct. I mean, garnishment is ultimately delinquency, and now we're going to come and actually take it
What
from
Jerry
you.
wants to do
This
is,
is a penalty. This
he
is
wants to be the one to take them to court.
sanctioned with a
No, no.
$50 penalty, and
That's what it
It,
sounds
the
like.
essentially
tax
post-
law says I can.
I don't think they want to be imposing a fine, which is effectively what I think that $50.
Well, they actually do, because they charge like $20. And
Service fee.
Service fee, yeah. What my concern is, half of the people, and this is your decision as
It is.
council, half are not paying. Well, I think there's an equity problem here. Maybe you should cancel per capita altogether. But it is a stream of income to you. At least I think I gave you about $800, and I have more to give the first of the month.
I think there's steps that, without doing away with the ordinance or saying we're going to prosecute these people, I feel there's a middle ground somewhere where the council sends letters out and saying, look, you know, we need this, you're supposed to do this, that's real simple terms. But give them a chance, you know, to straighten up. I know you guys have sat here before and said you don't want to prosecute these people, so, but that's up to you. Maybe
That's
the
the-
day will come when you want to.
I can't foresee trying to prosecute someone that you ain't getting money off now. You give them more bills to pay, they ain't gonna pay them. They're not paying $10, they're not gonna pay $50. Am I in the right trail?
Well, if they garnish you the wages, they're going to get
They don't,
it.
do they work?
Are they sent an annual notice to tell them to pay it?
Yes. I
And then
did.
it's ignored?
It's ignored.
Okay.
So it's a
'Cause that's,
violation of
I
an
think
ordinance.
that's step one, because some people, those folks, you may not be able to get it. If they're not being told, then they can't well be penalized, I think. for being ignorant of the fact that there's an enacted per capita tax. I think that might surprise some folks. I think is this per capita everybody, or is this among
Every person
everybody?
over the age of 18.
Yeah.
18 and older.
Does the county does the municipality have an occupational privilege tax?
Yes.
Yeah, 3.
That's always
Keystone
more. That's always more effective because it comes directly from the employer.
Yes.
So you go to them and have them take it, just like any other tax.
But it's
Well-
also, what I read, it's up to those people who owe that, who live, say I work in Altoona, to go to my employer and tell them that.
Yes.
So if they're not doing that, the employer can't take it off.
That's true in but you can see that done in your own county. I don't know if you've done a sampling among other municipalities. I don't think your collection number is all that off for other municipalities with per capita tax. There was a township I was involved in, and theirs was 30%
30%
paid.
paid. That's not good.
It's more of a moral issue to paying your per capita to the municipality.
Yeah.
You know, the people around here call it a nuisance tax.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is it per capita called the nuisance tax, or was it the
Or is it
occupation?
Or
was there a nuisance
People
tax?
that are.
They're all nuisance, actually.
I was going to say most folks I go to Buckhamp with call them all nuisance.
Yeah, yeah. But at one time, there was a nickname for one of those taxes as a nuisance.
But like somebody
quite
pointed
as,
out one time,
Bad
when
as
you're
the
paying
death
your
tax.
taxes, you want to see something for
That's
it.
really bad.
Death is
And
even
that
worse.
that question was asked, when was the
45%?
last time a road was done? It's 20 years.
Isn't it 45%?
People
It is
want to see
not.
that stuff done.
This is
Oh,
not.
I always
I
thought,
paid pretty high
Yeah.
I
price
always
for my
thought it was
father.
17, but I think even 17 might be high.
The federal estate
If we
tax has
get
been ramped
one
up to estates only in
or
excess
done
of what,
or two by
15
time.
million or higher, somewhere thereabout. So you don't even have it. And in Pennsylvania, the highest tax rate for any inheritance is 12%, no higher. No, yeah, 12. 15, excuse me, 15 for non-related.
It felt like 45%.
What is it when you're related? I should remember this from class.
4.5% for direct linears.
Is it?
For direct, what did you call it?
Linear, like
Oh,
your kids,
Yeah.
grandkids.
Yeah.
0 for spouses.
yes.
What is it for the kids,
4.5%.
grandkids,
4.5%. Brothers and sisters,
nieces, nephews?
parents, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, that's 12%.
Friends,
15.
aunts and uncles?
12.
Yeah, what if they gave it to a nonprofit? Is it 0?
0.
Good tax rate, everyone.
Thank you for your time.
This begins my seminar on Pennsylvania estate management and inheritance tax.
Kim Hauser, I don't know if you ever heard of Kim Hauser before.
None.
He's from Greensburg area, and he gave a webinar set, and I don't think you were here. I know LaDawn was here, I was here, and maybe Nicole or Barbie. I'll tell you, it was very good, things that he brought out about the fire company, it's like the workman's comp. The borough here has to have the workman's comp because we're situated here in the borough.
Correct.
But
They're
they
the host
can,
municipality.
but they can bill out, which they do.
Yes.
You know,
And there again,
but that's
that's-
not part of the fire
That's not
service
equal either. That's
contract.
without a balance.
But why there's no dispute on that, why there's no questioning like we are about this, is because the state has enacted that as statute.
Yes.
It is law. You
Yeah.
cannot get around it.
Mm-hmm.
It is mandatory.
You need signs.
So.
And I think there were people at that meeting that night that didn't
What
know
does she need
they
signed? I need to get to bed.
Yeah,
were paying their compensation.
your face is getting redder.
Yeah, honestly,
We're just
I
talking.
think we're done.
Yeah, she has something for me to
Yeah.
sign. I just don't know what she,
Half an
where
hour ago.
do you go for me to sign?
Well, come over here.
I gotta go to bed.
Understand.
You want this?